Hello students, I am Mrs. Rupali Samir Brahme from Deccan Education Society's Ferguson College, Pune. I am working as an information technology teacher since 2004 in Ferguson Junior College. In this subject, we are going to learn server-side scripting programming last session today. In this session, we will learn arrays and we will also learn what is session and what is cookies. Students, for information technology subject, you have online examination theory final for HSC board exam. So for this examination preparation, you will have to prepare for MCQs as well as for subjective type of questions and programming questions. So in this today's session, we will also learn how the questions will be asked on objective type. Let us begin with a presentation for it. We will see PHP array. An array is a special variable which can hold more than one value at a time. Students, do remember that array stores number of values having same name. Values must be same. So here an array stores multiple values in a single variable which has same data type. So this array word can be asked for fill in the blanks in your online examination. So similarly over here, and dash stores multiple values in a single variable. Question may come in your examination. If you want to create an array in PHP, you have to make use of the array function. Now array function, you have to make use of array function for creating an array. Students, observe over here in the array function, you have to make use of round brackets and you have to pass the values in that round brackets. The name of the array is the variable name which should follow the rules for naming variables from PHP. Students, if it is a string array, you have to make use of double quotes. For example, in this array, months array, I am storing names of the months. As names of the months are string values, I need to make use of double quotes for each value as it is a string. So always remember, whenever you are passing a string or whenever you are saving a string in an array, you have to give double quotes. Observe this my profit array which has numbers in it. So I have not given any kind of a double quote to it. So numbers, if you want to store, there is no need to make use of the double quote. So this is a number array and this is a string array. Students, over here, let us see what are the types of PHP arrays. There are three types of PHP arrays: indexed arrays, associative array and multidimensional array. Indexed array has numeric index. Associative array are arrays with named keys, and multidimensional array is nothing but arrays containing one or more arrays. Students, what is indexed array? We will see in this next slide. Index can be assigned automatically. Whenever you are declaring an array, the numbers will be given to each value of an array starting with a 0. So always remember that index number starts with a 0. So here I have declared simple syntax of array over here. So this is array name you have to specify by specifying $. So in the examination, you must remember that in PHP, $ symbol is used for declaring the variable name as well as array name. Here values I am passing over here. This is a players array, and in this players array, I have stored names of the players in this. So this is a string kind of array. So in this array, this first value, that is a Sachin, will have 0 index number. This Sunil will be having index number 1 and so on. So this array can be accessed by using numeric value. So an array with a numeric index is also called as an indexed array. So observe over here this array with numbers. So students, in this first value, that is 10, will be having index number 0. 7 will be having index number 1 and so on. This is a numeric array. And if I want to access array, for example, I want to get the value stored in the first location here. First location is having index 0. So what I will just write, players in bracket 0. So to access the array, just you have to write down the name of the array followed by in the box, and this is index number I'm specifying. So likewise, you can have, if I specify 1 over here, I will get the second value over here. So this is going to print the Sachin in this case, as echo is going to print it. So let us see how to make use of the for each loop for accessing an array. So this loop always works with an arrays. So it is used to loop through each key or value pair in an array. So observe this syntax over here for each loop. There is a difference between the for loop and for each loop. In for each loop, you need to pass the name of the array over here, as well as here this as $value keyword over here. Students, observe over here for each loop example of an array. Here I have started with a PHP code by less than sign, question mark and PHP. I have declared one array called as a subjects. In that array, I have stored 3 subject names. You can go on adding subject names over here. I want to access this array. So how to access that? For each, you have to write down the name of the array over here as value. It is going to print value over there. So it is going to access one by one. By default, it will start with 0, 1 and 2. If I type this program and get the output, see, observe the output over here. Just I have added one more statement of echo counting the number of subjects. So this count function will tell me how many subjects I have counted. So here count is giving me value 3 because I have added 3 values in the array. So this is simple program and output specified in your textbook. You may also try this by giving extension .php. So this you can type in Notepad and give the file name .php extension and save it on the server. PHP functions requires input values, and such input values we called it as arguments. So what do you mean by argument? Arguments are nothing but the values given to the function for processing. We may also call as a parameter for the arguments. Information can be passed to a function used in a curly. Information can be passed to a function in round bracket like this. The arguments are specified after the function name and inside the parenthesis, means these parentheses. So over here, the number is a parameter, or it is also called as a argument. So cube is the name of the function. Student, this is a user defined function. So let us see the user defined function example using the parameter or using the argument. So here I have given the value of a variable as 5. Observe the variable name always has a dollar symbol for declaration. I have passed this value to the cube function. So this cube function will get the value 5 over here, and this will be assigned to this number variable, and followed by it will come over here. It will execute this function. I have declared the result as a global. That's why I can access the global variable outside the function as well. In last lecture, we have seen what is a global variable. The variable which can be accessed outside the function as well. So here global result I have declared, so I can access it over here as well. Now students, over here observe the result I have got by multiplying the number thrice over here. So that's why it is going to print it. So this cube is going to print the result function because the result is a global one. So this is the argument, and argument will be having the value over here. So let us see one more program which has arguments. Here I have passed 2 arguments or 2 parameters. So over here observe the first variable a is having value 30. And that value I am passing it over here. I am adding that directly hard code I am giving over here. Directly number is specified over here. So you can directly pass the number over here inside the function. So in this add function, which is user defined written by me, I have written 2 variables. One is variable a and one is directly the value. So this a value will be assigned to this integer value a. This integer is a data type I have specified. So this 170 value will be assigned to the b variable. Students, this b and c will be added to c variable. So A and B means 30 plus 170, it is going to add to C. This return will return the addition to this echo statement. So what return does? It returns whatever value you have specified to the statement which function calls. So here echo function is calling the add function. Echo statement will get the return value over here. So that's why it is going to print the value 200, you can see in the output. So PHP form handling, you can observe over here. We have already learned the form in HTML5. So observe over here, form tag is important. It has method post. We have two types of methods, get and post. We will see in further slides what is the difference between get and post. This action add.php will get executed, means what? This program is going to execute when user will click on the submit button. I have given two text boxes to enter first number and second number. When user is going to click on the submit button, it will execute this program. Students do save these both programs, addition.htm and add.php, in the same folder on the server in the root directory. Over here, let us see the program of vowel counting SOP2 in your textbook. So write a PHP function to count the total number of vowels from the string and accept the string by using HTML form is the SOP. So here I have specified the form in which I have specified the method post. Action count vowel.php, name of the file I have given. Same name I will give to this file over here. So this file I will save by having the name count vowel.php. This form vowel.htm and count vowel.php both will be in the same folder. Students over here, observe I have provided a text box having the name my string. So this my string will be having same name I will make use of here in this case. So this value and this value must be same. So here I have used my string. So here also I have used my string. So I have again used same variable. No problem with this dollar my string. So for this my string underscore post array have used. So what is underscore post array does? So this takes the value given by the user in this particular text box. So this is going to fetch the value from the form here. So if I enter say value ABCD over here, this my string will be getting the value ABCD. It is going to, what the substr count does, from the given string, it is going to count how many A's are there. So if I enter ABCD over there, this variable will have value 1. It doesn't has any kind of a E, I, O, U. So here just it has A. So E, I, O and U will have value 0. So it will just give me 1. Suppose if I type AEIOU, so obviously all values will be having 1 value. So total I will get 5. I am just counting the total. This is the one way in which I am using inbuilt function substr count for searching the whether A is there in a given string and how many times. Whether E is there in the string and how many times. Likewise, I am using substr count function for counting the characters in a string. And I am just adding that. This is a vowel count program and I am printing it over here the total. You can do the same program in another way. Let us observe first output how it appears. Here I am typing hello over there. So hello has 2 vowels E and O. So I am getting answer as a 2. If I am typing again AEIOU, so here 5 vowels I have added. So obviously I have got the answer 7. So this is the program I can do in another way as well. So same form I have used over here. Name of the string I have used as a my string over here. So again I have passed it to this function. Students, here I have used string to lower function. What is string to lower function does? It will convert whatever the string entered by you in small case. So similarly in this program, in prior program, here if you want to have the capital A counting, you can add that as well, or you can just make use of over here to lower function that you can add it over here. So please add the string to lower function so that if somebody types in capital, still it will count the vowels. So here I have used, in this case, I have changed this given string into lower case. Students, here I have used the for loop. For loop is starting with a 0 because index number starts with 0, and it will go up to less than string length function. Taking one character by using subster function, which is inbuilt function, string function in PHP. What this subster will do, from the my string, which is the position, 0th position, 1st position, 2nd position, it will go on counting like this in a for loop. So from 0th position, take one character. From 1st position, take 1st character. Likewise, it will give me one character at a time. So that's why I have gave the name one character. I am checking whether that one character is A, or whether that one character is E, or I, or O, or U. If that is A, E, I, O, U, I am just incrementing the counter. Students, observe here, counter I have initialized to 0. So counter plus plus will increment it by 1 if it founds any of the vowel over here. After that, at the end, once it has stopped counting, I am just printing how many count of vowels are there in a string. Let us see the electricity bill program in PHP, that is SOP6. It's very easy program. For first 100 units, rupees 4 should be there. For next 100 units, rupees 5. And for next all units, you have to charge 6 rupees per unit. So this is simple bill form I have created, in which I have again used the method get. Action I have used as a count bill, observe. So I am going to create the count bill.php as well. I have given the name of the text box as customer units. So this customer units I will make use of further. I have used the submit button. It's very important. And when user will click on the submit button, it is going to execute the action. That means countbill.php will be called. And this is the code for countbill.php. In this, I have taken a variable units in that underscore post array to get the values from the form entered by the user. So this customer unit, observe again, I have used the customer unit word over here. Same word I have used here as well. So here I'm just checking whether units are less than equal to 100. This is simple else if program. If you observe number of units are less than 100, then I'm just multiplying units multiplied by 4. I'm just printing. This dot is important. It's used as a concatenation operator. Now here, if it is bill is less than 100, I'm multiplying it by 5, and else I'm multiplying by 6. So this is simple program, and let us see the output of it. Here I have entered the value 50. So it is less than 100, so multiply by 4. If I enter value, say 150, so it is more than 100, so less than 200, so I multiply by 5. And for 300, more than 200, that means it will be multiplied by 6. So here got the output 1800. So let us see get and post method difference, which is used for sending data to server. Students, the get and post method is important for your examination. PHP has super globals underscore get and underscore post arrays to collect the form data. So this underscore get and underscore post, you must remember for 2 correct answers. Same result you can get by using HTTP get method. Students, get and post methods are treated as $_get and $_post super globals. That means that they can be accessible regardless of the scope. It can be accessed from any function, class, or file without having to do anything special. Underscore get is an array of variables passed via the URL parameters, whereas post is an array of variables passed via a HTTP post method. So you need to remember, if the fill in the blanks comes, dash is an array of variables passed via the URL parameters. So in that case, underscore get you should write down like this. And this is also important for the fill in the blanks. Let us see the difference between get and post. The information sent from the form with the get method is always visible to everyone. Why it's visible? Because URL you can see in the address bar of any of the browser. Information sent from the form with the post method is invisible because it is not sent via the URL. Get is also Get also has limits on the amount of the information to send, whereas post has no limits on the amount of information to send. Get may be used for sending non-sensitive data. It is getting visible in the URL, whereas the post method always supports advanced functionalities such as support of multi-part binary input while uploading the files to the server. Students' variables are displayed in the URL. So it is possible to bookmark the page by getting the URL when you are using the get method. But when you are using the post method, variables are not getting displayed in the URL, so not possible to bookmark the page. Get should never be used for sending passwords or sensitive information like bank ID or your debit card, credit card, CVV number and so on other information using the get method. While post can be used for sending the confidential data to server from the user. Let us see what are the cookies. Students, cookies are the small text files that server can send to the user's computer. It is used to identify user or its machine and track activities created on the user computer. So this is important for the server to get the information at the server end. It is going to be saved on the computer of this user, not on the server. So that's why the memory of the user's computer or a client's computer is getting used for saving the cookies. When browser requests the server page, cookies are sent along with the request. PHP can be used both to create and retrieve cookies values. So if you want to access the values stored inside the cookies, you can make use of PHP coding. Cookies store visited page on the browser to optimize the search, so time will be saved in this case. So the question may come on write short note on cookies in PHP. So you must write the cookies. Let us learn about session in PHP. So what is session? When user visits the particular web page, session ID is getting created on every website. So this is used to store user information on the server to track users' activities. It helps the web applications to maintain the user information on all pages. For example, if you just log into the Gmail account, easily you can access the Gmail account as well. Students, you might have done the login for the Chrome browser. Over there also, whenever you log in for the Chrome browser, automatically it can save the Gmail account login as well. And here you can access the YouTube account there as well because session ID is getting saved over there. On the session, the question may come for the short note. Let us see the quick tips for the programming. If you are not getting any kind of output, whenever you are getting a blank output, nothing is coming on the web page though you have written a program. So you have to check the end title tag. So if you have misspelled the end title word, you will not get the correct output. Students, check the extension of the file. If you have given the .txt extension, it will show the code in the output instead of showing whatever the output you are expecting. The HTML file must have extension .html or .html, and external CSS should have extension .css. For PHP, the extension you must check whether it is .php or not. If you get error while executing the PHP program, check the syntax whether you are given a semicolon after each statement. Students, do remember that for loop does not have the semicolon at the end after round bracket. Even the if statement do not have the semicolon at the same line because that indicate no statement inside the if or inside the for. Check the place of dot, which is used as a concatenation operator in case of PHP to concatenate string and variables. That's it for the tips of the programming. So students, we have completed the chapter today, that is server-side scripting PHP, that is hypertext preprocessor. In this we have learned arrays, we have learned cookies session today. We have also learned how to write a program by using PHP syntax, and we have learned that dollar symbol is used for writing the variable name in PHP. We have not used dollar symbol in JavaScript. We have used plus as an operator, concatenation operator in JavaScript, whereas PHP uses a dot symbol for concatenation. Students, while writing, we must give semicolon while writing the PHP statements wherever necessary, because if and for statement do not have semicolon at the end. If you write the semicolon at the end of the if statement or for loop, over there it indicates there is no statement inside that if or inside the for loop. So you have to give the semicolon after the echo or after the addition statement or multiplication statement, whichever statements you are using. Students, we have learned by using simple for each array how to access the array elements. We have also seen indexed array, which uses numbers starting with the index 0 and how to write the code for it. So that's all about the PHP, which can be used for creating dynamic web pages. Thank you.